favorite recipe. If you are new here, my name is Britt and this is the Banana Diaries. Typically we make a bunch of healthy and veganized desserts and treats, and you just so happen to pop in the midst of cookie week. So very exciting stuff about that. If you missed any of the previous videos, go check out the vegan sugar cookies, the vegan reindeer cookies, the vegan peppermint chocolate cookies, and the vegan raspberry thumbprint cookies. And now for the final one, we are on to our vegan rainbow cookies. So as I mentioned yesterday, I am obsessed with these cookies. This is actually my favorite recipe of all time, specifically because I made it from my grandma's recipe. It's been in our family for God knows how long, I guess since they came over from Sicily. It's a long time ago. I know I don't look Sicilian either, Sicilian. I can't, an Americanized version of an Italianized version of the American way of saying an Italian word. What does that mean? I actually got the approval of my 80-year-old Italian grandmother and my mother, who is a stickler for detecting when things are vegan. So you know that this recipe works out, and I am like so beyond thrilled to show you how to make it. So without further ado, let's dive right in. So to start, we're just going to cream together the sugar, the vegan butter, and the almond paste. Now make sure that you're actually using almond paste and not marzipan, as marzipan is a little bit tougher than almond paste. We're just going to cream this together until basically the sugar dissolves into the almond paste and vegan butter, and then we'll add in the remaining ingredients. Next up, we're going to add in the dairy-free milk, so you can use any type of dairy-free milk here along with the unsweetened applesauce. This acts as the egg yolks in a traditional Italian rainbow cookie recipe, and it works just as well. And then we're also going to add in the almond extract and the vanilla extract here, and then cream everything together once more. Now we're going to add in the flour, and you can also use gluten-free 1-to-1 baking flour such as Bob's Red Mill or King Arthur here if you need to make this recipe gluten-free. But we're just going to basically just fold in the flour to the wet mixture until it basically becomes a traditional cookie dough. And then we're actually going to set this aside, and we're going to whip up the aquafaba and the cream of tartar, basically until it reaches stiff peaks like using egg whites in a traditional Italian rainbow cookie recipe. Now the aquafaba is such a great substitute for egg whites in the recipe, so we're actually going to now take the aquafaba and we're going to fold it into our dough batter once more. And this is just like making regular Italian rainbow cookies here. So we're just going to mix this in until it's completely consistently throughout the dough. And now we're going to divide the dough into 3 bowls. So I actually just used 2 bowls here and then kept the white/yellow layer into the main large bowl. But we're just going to make sure that we have even quantities throughout. And for the food coloring, I actually recommend using Nomeka. It's a new vegan food coloring brand that I just found, and it works wonderfully. The vegan food coloring doesn't bake out of the cookies like the Whole Foods brand, and it actually looks like a red and a green. So add a few drops of those into 2 of the bowls so that you have 1 red bowl, 1 green bowl, and 1 white bowl. And then we're going to spread the batter onto cookie sheets. So we're going to need 3 cookie sheets, 1 per bowl. And we're just going to spread the batter until it's basically touching the edges of the cookie sheet, so it almost bakes like a sheet cake. So this is kind of why the cookies are called a rainbow cookie cake sometimes, because it's kind of like making a cake. Now the batter's going to be super thin when it bakes and when it spreads onto the cookie sheet, but don't worry, actually we're going to be folding this in half so that it becomes a thicker layer. So we're just going to bake all of these for a few minutes at 350, and then they will look like this. And then because the vegan cookies actually come out a little bit thinner than the regular cookies, I decided to actually flip these in half. So I cut them in half crosswise, and then I flipped it in half to create a thicker layer. So now it's more of a smaller rectangle, but don't worry, it still yields a lot of cookies, so you're not going to be missing out. We're just going to do this for each of the layers, and then we're going to get ready to assemble it all. So once the cookie layers have slightly cooled, we're going to spread about a 1/4 cup of raspberry jam onto the green layer. The green layer is going to be our base. You can also use apricot jam for the second layer or use apricot jam throughout. I know that some people actually prefer that, but I personally love raspberry, so that's what I'm using for this recipe. And then we're going to add the white layer on top of that, and then spread the remaining jam on top of this until it is completely touching the edges and it's nice and even and smooth. And finally, we're going to top with our red layer. And now we get to transfer this to the fridge to chill. So in chilling this massive cookie cake, we're actually going to place a few weighted objects onto the cookie cake to make sure that everything kind of holds together. So I'm choosing actually a few Italian books, Italian Harry Potter books, and a regular Harry Potter book, and I'm just going to chill that for about 3 hours. And once it's chilled, we can remove it and it should all be nice and thick. So I'm just going to trim the sides so that it's a nice and even rectangle and that all the layers line up. And don't worry, you can eat those sides, like they're totally edible, they just won't be a part of the finished product. And once those sides are all even, then we're going to spread on our melted chocolate onto the top of the red layer. And we're just going to spread this on nice and evenly. The cookies should be pretty chill, so it should set pretty fast, but we're going to then pop it into the fridge to finish chilling. And then we're going to repeat for the remaining side. And once all that is set, so we have both a chocolate layer on the green side and a chocolate layer on the red side, we're going to just trim any other edges that don't look a little bit finished. Again, you can eat those. And then we will finally slice our cookies into a billion little rainbow cookies. Not quite a billion, but it's pretty up there. We get about 36 cookies from this recipe. I personally like to score the chocolate a little bit with the knife so that I know where I'm cutting, and it also helps to not break the chocolate. And then when I'm slicing, I actually aim to just cut the chocolate at first and then I slice into the cookie. And this again just helps the chocolate not break on top so that it looks like an elegant little cookie, as if you were to layer the 7 layers of these cookies. These cookies are also called 7-layer cookies because there are 7 layers to this cookie, as if you were to layer each individual layer on the cookie itself. And would you look at that? They look like Italian rainbow cookies, the classic Italian rainbow cookie. I actually got the approval from my grandma from this recipe that she loved them. They taste just like as she remembers, so that made me so excited, and I cannot wait to see you recreate these cookies, and that I hope that you love them as well. The full recipe is found on thebananadiaries.com, linked in the description box. I hope that you enjoyed that video. Oh, it's like a bittersweet ending to now end Cookie Week. This has just been so much fun. So much love and effort has been poured into all of these videos, and I hope that you love these recipes. I hope that you share them with your loved ones, that you bake and remember the good times and they bring you back to a place of joy, because that's what this is all about. It's really just about coming back to our hearts and baking with love and sharing the love with everyone that we know. And yeah, remembering that this is all love. So getting sentimental. Yeah, if you make any of these recipes, be sure to tag me on Instagram at @the_banana diaries. I absolutely love seeing all of your creations. That like fills me up with so much joy. And I also love hearing how they went over, especially I feel like I've now turned you guys on to like surprising your family members with a vegan treat, which is like my favorite thing to do. So like that's really cool to hear everyone's reactions. That just I feel like we're just one big, growing, wonderful family. I hope that you love this recipe. You can find all of the cookie recipes linked down below in our 35 vegan Christmas cookies. They are amazing. I'm also going to link the specific recipe for this down below in the description box, so be sure to go check that out. And yeah, I hope that you enjoy these cookies. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Remember that you are an incredible human being. You deserve to be here, and I'm always rooting for you. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.